And thank you for watching this edition of On Me Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
Today we are filming at our very own Cafe Aroma Coffee House. People might wonder why we're not outside and about. We're not in the different cities just yet. We thought we'd do it here because it is our 1-year anniversary here at Cafe Aroma Coffee House.
I heard that the waffles are delicious and the chicken, they have that tangy taste.
You
to
heard,
it.
you've eaten some waffles and some chicken.
I know, but I enjoy the chicken. And they say the fish, and I know the fish is bomb.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and I hate to brag about it, but I guess I am pretty good with doing that. And we also have some really good caterers. We have people here that are really making an effort. And we also like that on Fridays we try to make sure we gear towards nonprofit. In fact, the NAACP will be doing a fundraiser for the next 3 weeks here at the Cafe Aroma Coffee House on those Fridays. So those Fish Fry Fridays that we have, again, starting Friday, and that's from noon till about 9 p.m., they'll be here at Cafe Aroma Coffee House. So know that the fish dinners that you buy on those Fridays, you'll be supporting the NAACP. We also want to be able to talk about the ONME network. We are growing and we are expanding, and we are adding different members to our team. And so we're so grateful that Hanford and throughout the Valley, and also Bakersfield, along with Fresno, because we want people to know what's going on throughout the Central Valley. And that was one of the things that, if you remember, when Susan Taylor came to Fresno, and she says, you know, African Americans don't know what's going on with African Americans in Oakland. The African Americans in Oakland don't know what's going on with the people in Fresno. The people in Fresno don't know what's going on in LA. Well, the irony of that is we don't even know what's going on in the Central Valley in Modesto, or what's going on in Visalia, or what's going on in Tulare. And so we thought it was very important that we connect and have that ONME network so that we can all know what's going on and be able to feed you that information and giving you as much as we can.
Yeah, I noticed one gentleman mentioned to me that he finding out there's certain events that's happening the day after or the day of.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity by using this distribution outlet to get the events and get your word and your voice heard.
So with the ONME network, know that even Valley Black Talk Radio, along with the ONME network, at our onmetv.com, you'll be able to see live feed that's happening from throughout the Valley. And so we have members of our team that are coming together to make sure we're able to bring you news and information, and also some offbeat programming that you would like to enjoy on the off times that we're not just covering community events and letting you know what's going on. And that'll be a free network that you'll be able to live stream, whether it be on your phone or on your TV. So not only will you have that live feed, but you'll also have the radio show that'll also be online where people will be able to see that, not only on the ONME TV portion, but also at radio.amptv now. And that's something we want to make sure that there's a daily program that you can get in your cars. Just go to that website and plug in your phone, and you're able to still hear us during the drive time, and then also when you get off that drive time, radio.amptv now. And then finally, we have our blog, our ONME Network blog, which, again, we're getting some contributing writers from throughout the Central Valley, which we think that's important. So we know people's opinions and know what's going on. And we definitely would like you to be able to comment, say a few words, and even talk about the stories that are already on there, because we like to be able to comment and talk about those as well. Your comments are just as important. And you can currently get that at vbtradio.org. That's vbtradio.org. And once again, I told you we'll be having that all in one location where you'll be able to get to the ONME Network. And all the ONME Network is a collaboration of all the medias. Everyone's still their own. In fact, we have a radio station that will be adding on, and he is his own radio, but he's part of the ONME network so that people know where to find these different entities,
well,
media entities.
It's so much going on, and it's with the technology that's here now that we can use. We have better ways to communicate and get our word out there and get what we know that they need for this community, and it's needed right now.
Also, the African American Museum is going to be having a fundraiser that's coming up, and it's hosted by Feather DeWise, and it's a jazz, blues, and R&B concert, and DJ Yellow, who is also a part of it, Dennis Horn, who's well known in this community, and you have, I believe, Sharon Anderson and some Baby B's. Some people recognize those names.
Well, one of the things about the African American Museum, we know that it gathers a big crowd, and they do a great job with the professionalism, and also a lot of people out there enjoying the jazz festival as it do year after year. So
And so my main take on it is being able to keep something in the community that is for all of the Central Valley. We wanted to make sure we're able to expand. And so donations are always welcome. Even if you don't go to the concert, perhaps a donation that will help keep this thriving entity that is really housing the history of the Central Valley. It is housing our history and being able to share that with all of the community. Join us. So make sure you join us out there. We'll be out there as well. And again, that'll be on that September 12th. I don't know if I said the wrong date before, but it's Saturday, September 12th, and you can check out that event. Check out Feather DeWise. He's a very well-known comedian here in the Valley, also a very funny guy. So don't sit in the front row, but no, you'll be okay. Nice, relaxing, have a good time, and do some dancing. And even if you can't attend, it'd be a nice donation to the African American Museum. And this is welcome to all of the Central Valley. We also want to remind people that AMP TV Now News, we're on there daily at 1 o'clock on Biz TV. So we would definitely encourage our viewers to also be able to watch that, because that's where we cover a lot of business, information on finance, ways to help manage your life, a lot of DIYs, which are, do it yourself, to help you through some of those hardest times, whether it be in relationships, finances, you name it. AMP TV Now News, we really cover a lot of those national topics that people don't always talk about, so we delve right into that. We also want to make sure we give you a water update before we get into preview, and so we appreciate those residents that are making sure that they restrict themselves to those 2 days a week that they're watering, and we'll put those days on the screen right now as we talk. However, according to Mark Sandriff, who gave us some updates from the office, the City of Fresno office, we still are we're using a little bit too much water. We're wasting still about 9 million gallons a day.
Well, it's been a drought for 4 years. There's no water really there, so we have to be very conservative of how we use our water and how we treat our water here.
But we still got to push people into that stage 2. Please honor that stage 2. Because we're trying to, as a state overall, we've been mandated to get a 28% reduction. So it's very important that we take the time to really conserve water and think about our watering times of whatever we're doing at home, in the shower, whatever it is that we're doing when we're washing the dishes. Are you running the water and rinsing, or are you rinsing each dish, letting the water sit, or why not put a sink full of water, rinse, and make rinse water and do it that way. Letting you know what we're going to talk about on our program, we definitely want to be able to talk about DeAndre Howard, and who was a college student, unfortunately, who was gunned down this past week. We're also going to be talking about that Caltrans story. We'll be able to show you that 2 minutes and 39 seconds, I think that's how long it is, from the California Black Media Group, and give you some commentary on that. We also want to look at the interview that we had with Fresno CDFI. This is where you can get some funding. You businesses out there that are really looking for a way to be able to get funding and no more rejections from the bank. We might have some answers for you, at least to start to a location. And so we want to be able to talk about those things. You're watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll be right back after the short break. Join us at the R&B Blues concert hosted by Feather DeWise, featuring the sounds by DJ Yellow, Saturday, September 12th at the Museum Outdoor Pavilion. Doors open at 5 p.m. Admission is $20, VIP $35. Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
And we start off with a saddening story, and it's with a student, a former, college student, right?
Yes, he went to Fresno City College. DeAndre Howard.
Some people would know him as nickname as Day Day. Okay.
So he's 21 years old. He was playing both baseball and football. Yeah, football. And he was going to go into being a star for Fresno City College as an outfielder in 2016. And he was gunned down, and it's a pretty sad situation.
And I know they've been raising money online, and I think they've reached a goal. I think it was approximately, about $5,600 they were able to raise?
They have 56 right now, and they're still raising. I think the goal is $7,000 is the goal that they're trying to reach for DeAndre. And, and it looks like they're going to reach that goal pretty quickly.
So when do we begin to take the discussions outside of ourselves and really start to deal with the one-on-one? We do have, like the streetwalkers. We have Reverend White that goes and is able to talk to some of the members of the community and neighbors in the community. But it's going to take everyone. It can't be when all of a sudden an incident happens to them personally that they want to do something about it. It has to be before that.
Well, a lot of times it's other factors that happen in the neighborhood, I believe, in the community, dealing with opportunities, dealing with employment, also dealing with, I'm not saying that's the only thing, but it's a combination of a slew of things that happens in the community that cause the anger, that cause the need to protect or defend, and cause this kind of tragic situation to happen. Should it happen to DeAndre Howard? No. But there's countless other senseless deaths out there that is happening in the community that could have been avoided, but it's more, I believe personally, external forces that's happening that cause this kind of situation.
So when we're looking at the end result, that's a problem. We're always trying to resolve the solution out of the end result. We know that when you've talked to the young people and they say, when you're talking about unemployment, the issue of that is the job is not enough. They're saying $9 an hour and even $10 an hour is not enough.
No, if you have community people out there or youngsters out there making, in the underground world, $1,000 a week or $1,500 a week with little or no work, and then you have someone coming at them saying, okay, I can give you a job for $10 an hour, and they looking at you like, what? And then too, a lot of them probably in gang activities, and that means they have to be stable in one location, so it's not safe for them at a job situation. So sometimes they have to do what they have to do.
What's so ironic is I know that we've talked about or people have felt that not supporting our young African Americans in the military was not a good thing because they end up on the front line. However, I would like to say that helps with discipline and helps with structure. And that's one of the things that I've seen some of my young people that I used to teach at an inner city high school that have done a lot better from that structure, whereas before they were going down a wrong path. And they were going into a life where it could have been very different. It could have been, like what you said, part of a gang or anything that was destructive to their character.
One thing about being in the military, and some community members cannot get into the military due to their criminal record. If they have a felony, a lot of times they won't be allowed to go into a military. So those opportunities are blocked for them. Just like when they have a felony, voting is blocked for them. So it's certain opportunities are not accessible for them due to whatever crime or situation that they got into. So they are forced sometime into that lifestyle, and they have to survive in that,
But we have to begin to really have some discussions about structure, because if that military style is working, just as the Nation of Islam worked back in the 1930s when under Elijah Muhammad.
Well, 1930s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Meaning helping people with structure, dealing with the elements of racism that were so strong and rampant during that time. Where is that structure today where you're able to help our young men, our young black men that are destructive, from black on black crime to other cultures that they're hurting? There has to be some type of structure, because just giving them a job is not going to do it.
No, it's not.
Using that's even saying school, telling them to get back in school, it's just not going to do it. And this is us both coming from an education background, and we know better.
No, it's the job itself is not going to do it. And going to it, you say, well, let's go to a church. That's, some were able to come out with a church with a belief system during their trials.
But it's a lifestyle structure that makes a change. Yeah. Military has a lifestyle structure. That's the difference. Again, when you looked at the Nation of Islam, there's a lifestyle structure that creates a change no matter what. So what is a lifestyle structure that's not necessarily military, not necessarily any religious affiliation, but is its own entity? That rites of passage, where they see structure. It's more so about how do we make the changes for them to believe in themselves and to know that it's not just about getting employed, it's about changing your entire lifestyle, because that's what has to change.
Yes.
Nothing
They
else.
have to have it has to be some sort of program like that to develop in that. It's a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. This is
But
not.
we're going to have to see what United Black Men are doing, because just doing the mentoring is just one part. It's just one entity.
Just hitting it from one angle.
But these young men, if some of them are not growing up, it depends on, I don't know what the parental guidance is. Sometimes there is parental guidance, and it's just the influence of what's around them, their circumstance, where they are. So that's what I mean by it's a lifestyle change. It has to be something daily inputted into these young men of color. And it's not just in the Black community. We're finding other communities of color that are dealing with the same challenges. So that's why I'm saying there has to be a cross program that is structural for all these young men to be able to go into, just like they had the Scared Straight program. So what is a program that's going to help them to see something different? Because really, it's a lifestyle change. A job, school, those are just parts of it. And those are not going to...
Like when we saw that movie NWA, Straight Outta Compton, and you saw some of the behaviors in the community that they deal with, and the way they were able to kind of break out of some of that. It was the First Amendment rights, where they had the freedom of speech, and they able to, from that freedom of speech, able to express what's happening to them.
So you're saying through music, they were able to find their freedom through music.
That's a lot of this community members and students, and also young adults out there are finding a way through music.
Some are finding their way through music
to express themselves.
But some are finding a way to do retaliation through music. So I'm not sure if that's a gateway for everyone. I'm not sure if that's.
And I agree with that part, the retaliation aspect of it with the music.
And so those are some things we're going to have to explore as a community. Meanwhile, after the break, we want to be able to show you that Caltrans, a full story on that, and have some brief commentary on that, and then also be able to talk about Fresno CDFI that was on Valley Black Talk Radio. You're watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll be right back after a short break. Watch AMPTV Now News Daily with Julia and Lennice as they review the top DIY digital downloads of information that can enhance your life, review the books related to personal development, or give the latest online coupon offers and special deals. Get all the latest urban news from popular mainstream and African American news sources. Be inspired by individuals making a difference in their communities and in the world. Watch us on BizTV daily. Want to be a featured DIY expert on AMPTV Now News? Have 5 years experience in the field of knowledge you want to share with millions of viewers? Great. Find out how you can earn money by helping others make their lives better. DIY, do it yourself, can mean viewers are saving money, enhancing their lives, or looking at a more efficient way of doing a task. If you've got the information to share, we've got the hookup for the digital download. Find out more by going to news.amptvnow.com. That's news.amptvnow.com.
To meet state-mandated water cuts during this drought, we all need to use less water.
Start by knowing your 2 outdoor watering days. Odd addresses on Tuesday and Saturday, and evens on Wednesday and Sunday.
Then, cut your watering times in half. And if you see problems with city sprinklers, let us know.
We're all in this together, and together is the only way we can meet our goal.
So this summer, don't frown on brown, because a brown lawn is a responsible lawn.
A message from the city of Fresno.
Join us at the R&B Blues concert hosted by Feather DeWise, featuring the sounds by DJ Yellow, Saturday, September 12th at the Museum Outdoor Pavilion. Doors open at 5 p.m. Admission is $20, VIP $35. Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
We want to talk about the Caltrans, and this is something we even went into detail on Valley Black Talk Radio. And so we'll show the short video. This is by the California Black Media Group, one of our media partners. That's one of our state media partners. So let's take a look.
California has always stood out among other states as a leader when it comes to transportation. On any given day, Californians travel across more than 50,000 miles of freeway lanes that the California Department of Transportation, commonly called Caltrans, is responsible for maintaining. But some observers say that upkeep of the roads that have historically been the lifeblood of the state's economy is unequal. Roads in poorer neighborhoods are often in more disrepair than in affluent areas. In response, Assemblymember Mike Gibson, a Democrat from Carson and chair of the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, has requested an investigation of Caltrans.
Why is Compton, Carson, Watts, Gardena, Long Beach looking differently from Bellflower, from Cerritos, from affluent areas on the west side, and Beverly Hills and Ranchos Palos Verdes? These are all cities still in the state of California, but if you drive down those communities and those roads, they are in great conditions.
The review comes at a time when politicians in Sacramento are floating a number of competing proposals on how to improve transportation in the state. For example, Assembly Republicans have introduced a 9-point roadmap they expect will provide more than $6 billion in new funding to address California's transportation needs. They created the plan in response to Governor Brown's convening of a special session of the legislature on transportation funding. While each group's plan has a different focus and vision for what the future of transportation should look like in the state, for many Black Caucus members, fixing inequities in the current system is a more pressing concern. Despite anecdotal evidence of disparities in the upkeep of roads, Caltrans maintains that it is playing fair. Caltrans spokesman Jason Probst says that the agency is investigating statewide and aggressively focusing its limited resources on fix-it-first projects equally across the state. Probst adds that Caltrans will need approximately $80 billion over the next 10 years to address current and future needs of the state highway system. He confirms that a projected funding shortfall of nearly $58 billion exists with available revenue. The auditor's office anticipates the results of its investigation next year.
There's a need that needs to be met, and that is to repair the roads and infrastructure of our state. And so if you look at individuals in my district, if there was a ballot, I believe they were supported for the simple fact because they're the ones who've been victims of what has transpired in terms of our roads.
And we just got a chance to watch the challenges with the Caltrans. We're going to continue to follow that to see where it goes, to see if there are some changes. I know Caltrans says that they're not doing anything illegal or that they're not missing out on different communities of color, but during doing the research and we're finding that to be very different.
Well, what's going on is the monies that need to be going in areas of low
for road
improvement, for low areas, low income areas, it's not being delivered there because we're looking at the aftermath and looking at the results of it. So that is the question. That's where the investigation is going, and we are trying to see where that money is allocated so we can make some adjustments.
Meanwhile, Fresno CDFI, Jeremy Hoffer and Jason Gridiron, and also the business owner that was on Valley Black Talk Radio, we want to make sure we're able to show you an excerpt of that. It's very important for businesses to know how they can get funding that is very different from a bank. So for the next 8 weeks, we'll be able to see excerpts of this program because the information that they had was so detailed and so very important. We won't be able to show you the whole 45 minutes in this show, but we'll be able to show you excerpts. So we want to take a few minutes right now to show you that excerpt, and we'll have a very brief commentary thereafter. Let's take a look.
I want to talk about CDFI, and we have gentlemen in the studio with us.
All right, my name is Jason Gritter. I'm the credit manager at Fresno CDFI.
And I'm Jeremy Hofer. I'm the business development manager at CDFI.
Wonderful. Now, CDFI is what?
Well, CDFI stands for, I say this over and over so I can say it rather quick, it stands for Community Development Financial Institution. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Community Development Financial Institution. Yep. And you guys have been around for how long?
Well, 2008. So we're relatively new. Prior to 2008, EOC was running a refugee microenterprise program, and so we grew out of that. We started in 2008 with some investments, and at that time we were only about $700,000 in the bank, and at this point we're $14 million.
Okay, so is this the one? Several years ago, I served on the EOC commission, and there was a branch of. Well, I don't think it was directly connected, but it was a couple of board members from EOC were on that board, and I think they did similar things in terms of lending and seeking. It was a specific kind of loan too. I don't think it was a general like you walk into the bank. There was something different about it. What the status changed, or what's the status of that now?
We are a subsidiary of EOC. So,
Okay.
so the CDFI was formed as a separate nonprofit under EOC. So that's why there's some commissioners that are EOC commissioners, and EOC stands for Economic Opportunities Commission.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
case
I'm sorry
other
about that.
people
Yeah.
we start throwing out these abbreviations. And so there's some board members from EOC on our board as well. But then it includes other members from the community, because we actually serve 12 counties, and EOC is really
That's
only
what I was going to
in
ask you
Fresno.
about. Back in the day, it was just Fresno County. So now it's grown in a couple of ways, in the area that you serve, and also in the number of people that are representatives, correct?
Correct. Yeah, as of right now, our footprint is all the way from Monterey all the way down to Bakersfield, the Kern County area. So our footprint is pretty large now.
Is there any were there any advantages to making that kind of a transition in terms of having a bigger footprint into the valley?
Well, primarily, I mean, we can, because a lot of our funds come from SBA, so they do kind of guide us as far as the different counties that they would like us to serve in.
Okay.
And it's based on where they have a footprint and where they have where other business owners have access to capital. So from Monterey all the way down to Kern County, we're one of the sole players within SBA as far as offering the microloans.
And we're back. We wanted to give you a chance to get an introduction of Fresno CDFI, and we'll be, again, every week talking about these excerpts, because we do think that it's important for business owners to know that there's other ways than the traditional way of funding. Not all the times the people that might look like me and you can get funding from a bank, and so Fresno CDFI is able to have that resource, and they're reaching out into specifically other communities, especially the Black communities, to let people know that they exist to be able to help people with loans.
One thing I like about what CDFI has to offer is they have the underwriter and the account executive working there with you. So you get
They're
your
getting
answer,
loan readiness.
Yeah, you get your answer where you at right on the spot. And that brings a lot of clarity and emergencies to that situation.
And so one of the businesses that you'll be able to hear from that was able to get funding through CDFI and in just about roughly 45 days was Elite Wireless. And so you'll be able to hear from her over the next several weeks, and we will continue to show you excerpts of that and continue to talk about that. And so we appreciate you watching this edition of ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
Have a great week.